Hello everyone, welcome you all to the next session on circles of class 10 mathematics. In this session, let us learn about parallel tangents, tangents from an external point of a circle, length of the tangent, theorem 10.2 and a few problems from exercise 10.2. Let's get into the session now. Parallel tangents. To understand the meaning of parallel tangents, let's take a circle and we'll try to draw a secant. Here is a circle and we have a secant of this circle and the secant is named as P and Q. So, we have a secant of the circle which is called as P and Q. Let us try to draw as many lines parallel to this secant PQ. Now what happens if we draw as many lines parallel to this secant? Let's check it out. Here is the diagram which shows you the number of lines that are parallel to the secant P and Q, that is PQ. I hope you are able to see the secant here. This is a secant line PQ which we have already drawn in the previous board. And there are so many lines that are drawn parallel to this PQ, out of which you can see the line P dash Q dash and P2 dash and Q2 dash are the lines that are parallel to the secant and also passing through the circle at exactly one point. Hence, these lines, that is P dash Q dash and P2 dash Q2 dash, are called as tangents. So, when you consider a secant, you can see there are only two tangents that can be parallel to each other. So, this leads us to have a conclusion that there cannot be more than two tangents parallel to a given secant. If we have a secant, you can have only two parallel tangents. The secant which I have drawn is in this direction. It can be drawn in any other direction also. Let's see number of tangents from a point on a circle. We have already seen the number of tangents drawn at a point on a circle. Let's learn a little more about it here. You have a circle here and a point P which is lying inside the circle. Now let us try to draw as many lines that are passing through this point P. When you see that there are three lines that have been shown to you here. This 3 is not the only 3 lines you can draw. You can draw as many lines that can pass through this point P and also crosses the circle. And here is the next diagram where we have a circle and a point P. You can see there is a line that is passing through the point P and also the circle. So the intersection between the circle and the point P, on the line is there is only one intersection and that intersection is P here. Here is the third case where you have a circle whereas the point P is lying outside the circle. In the second case, we can see the point P is on the circle and here the point is outside the circle. And we have two lines PT1 and PT2 which are passing through the point P and also to the circle. So when you have a point outside the circle, you can see there are only two lines that are possible. There are only two possible lines that will pass through both the circle and also the external point. So this gives us an understanding. There is no tangent to a circle passing through a point lying inside the circle. It's easily understandable that when you have the point inside the circle, you don't have a tangent at all because you could have seen the lines are not intersecting the circle at a point on the circle. And similarly, there is only one tangent to a circle passing through a point lying on the circle. So if you know that, you know very well that if you have a circle and a point on the circle, there can be only one tangent. There are exactly two tangents to a circle through a point lying outside the circle. We can check it out. We had a point P which is lying outside the circle. Through that point, we were able to draw two lines. That means two tangents to this particular circle. So, if a point is lying inside the circle, you will not have any tangent. If a point is lying on the circle and if you try to draw a line, there can be only one tangent that is possible. And if the point is lying outside the circle, we can have exactly two tangents. You cannot have more than these two tangents in this case. Now let's understand the length of the tangent. What do you mean by length of the tangent? It is nothing but length of the line. But can we measure the length of a line? No, that's not possible. Hence, we take the segment of the tangent. That is, the length of the segment of the tangent from the external point P and the point of contact with the circle is called the length of the tangent from the point P to the circle. The length of the segment of the tangent from the external point P and the point of contact with the circle from the point P and the point of contact with the circle. Here is a diagram that we had learnt about two tangents. So what is the external point here? The external point here is P, whereas the point of contacts here are T1 and T2. So the length of the segment of the tangent at these places are called the length of the tangent. That is, the distance P to T1 and the distance from P to T2 are called the lengths of the tangents. So here PT1 is the distance which is called length. Again PT2 is the distance and this distance is called the length. So the length of the tangent is nothing but a segment of the tangent, or I can say the piece of a tangent, which is nothing but the distance is measured from the external point to the point of contact with the circle. Let's move on to theorem 10.2, which has the length of tangents and concepts based on the length of tangents here. The lengths of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. So in the diagram we have seen PT1 and PT2 were the tangents, were the lengths of the tangents, and if at all you have such tangents where if you try to find the lengths of those two tangents, we can see the lengths will be equal. Let's understand how it is possible. Here is a diagram where I have taken the point P, which is outside the circle, or P can be called as an external point, and the points of contacts I have marked it as Q and R. So I have the external point P and the point of contact Q and R. Now I need to prove PQ and PR are equal. So this is what I have to prove. Now as usual, when we have a theorem, to prove it we will list out what are given to us, what are we supposed to prove, and if there is any construction we will do that construction and then we will prove it. Similarly, we are going to start with given here. What are we given? We are given a circle, a point, a tangent, two tangents drawn from that particular point. O is the center of the circle, or you can say a circle with center O is given to us. And then PQ and PR are the tangents drawn from a point P outside the circle. So we have PQ and PR are the tangents. Now what is it we have to prove here? We have to prove these lengths are equal, that is PQ and PR are equal. Mathematically I can put it as PQ equal to PR. Now how are we going to prove it? To prove this, we may need to do some construction. It is not necessary that every theorem will have a construction, but in this theorem we are going to have some construction which helps us to understand how can we prove PQ and PR are equal. So here is a construction. Join OP, OQ and OR. So how are we going to do this? Here it is. You can check it out. We had P, Q, R and O in the earlier diagram. Now we are going to join all this, so that has been marked with the dotted lines. So PO, QO and RO are the lines that has been joined here. So it is represented by the dotted lines here. Let's start with the proof. Consider triangles OQP and ORP. OQP. So here is a triangle OQP and there is another triangle on the other side of OP. This is ORP. Now what are we going to do with this triangle? To prove that the lengths PQ and PR are equal, it is sufficient enough if I prove these two triangles are congruent. Let's try to understand how can we prove this is congruent. Now when you consider these two triangles, we can understand OQ and OR are equal because they both are the radii of the same circle and hence they have to be equal. So OQ is equal to OR. The next one what we have is angle PQO is equal to angle PRO, and that is equal to 90 degrees. It is written as 40 degrees here. It should be 90 degrees. So this is 90 degrees. Can you understand why it is 90 degrees? We have learned this in our previous session. You can see that OQ is the radius, whereas PQ is the tangent. So when you have OQ and PQ, we know the radius is always perpendicular to the tangent through the point of contact. So this is what we understand, we learned in the previous session by theorem 10.1. So that was a definition, that was a statement of the theorem that we learned in the previous session. So we have PQ perpendicular to OQ, or I can put it as angle PQO is equal to 90 degrees. Similarly, angle PRO is also equal to 90 degrees because PR is also a tangent and OR is also a radius. So we can see in both the triangles we have angle PQO and PRO as 90 degrees. So this tells us that these triangles are right triangles. So what else we have? Now PO and OP are equal. So you can see PO is same as OP. So you have two right triangles in which you have proved the hypotenuse. PO is the hypotenuse of these two right triangles actually. So you have proved the hypotenuses of these two triangles are equal, and OQ and OR, one of the legs of these two right triangles are equal. So this tells you that these two triangles are congruent because of RHS congruency. So when two right triangles are when two triangles are congruent, obviously the corresponding parts are equal, and hence we can conclude PQ is equal to PR by CPCT. So with this we conclude the lengths of the tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. So we understand PQ and PR are equal. I hope you will be able to understand the proof of this theorem. With this understanding, we'll try a few problems from exercise 10.2. Here it is. We are given a figure which is denoted as 10.11. If TP and TQ are the two tangents to a circle with a center O, so that angle POQ equal to 110 degrees, then angle PTQ is equal to either 60 degrees or 70 degrees or 80 degrees or 90 degrees. Here is a diagram for us. We can check it out. TP and TQ are the two tangents. So here T is the external point. TP and TQ are the tangents with the center O, so that angle POQ is equal to 110 degrees. We need to find out angle PTQ. Now consider the quadrilateral POQT. You can check it out. It's a quadrilateral POQT. In this quadrilateral, we know the measure of angle POQ. Do we know the measure of angle OPT and OQT? Yes, actually OP is the radius. OP and OQ both are radii, whereas TP and TQ are the tangents. So OP perpendicular to TP and OQ perpendicular to TQ. So this means that angle OPT is equal to 90 degrees, angle OQT equal to 90 degrees. So you have a quadrilateral in which all the three angles are known to you. So we are going to use the angle sum property of a quadrilateral, which can be written as angle POQ plus angle QOT plus angle QTP plus angle TPO. That is sum of all the four angles of the given quadrilateral, or the quadrilateral that are formed, is equal to 360 degrees. Next thing what we have to do is we have to do the substitution. The known angles can be substituted, which gives you angle PTQ equal to 70 degrees. This is nothing but the B option. Option B is the right answer for this problem. So with this we are able to conclude which is the right option for us, and this is one of the important concepts we can be using in our problem solving here. Now here is a third problem of the same exercise, which says if tangents PA and PB from a point P to a circle with a center O are inclined to each other at an angle of 80 degrees, then angle POA is equal to either 50 degrees or 60 degrees or 70 degrees or 80 degrees. So let's have a diagram for a better understanding. Here is the diagram. You can check it out. You have a circle with the center O. P is the external point, whereas PA and PB are the tangents drawn from this external point. And here it is given that the the tangents PA and PB are inclined to each other at an angle of 80 degrees. So this means that angle APB is totally, on the whole, angle APB is equal to 80 degrees. So this is what given to us. Now we need to find out angle POA, that is the one that is marked here. We need to find the value of angle POA. Let's see how are we going to find out here. For which there is a small construction that has been done joining PO, AO and OB. So we are joining all the other lines that are new to us. PO, OA and OB are joined here. We can see that you have two triangles here, that is triangle PAO and triangle PBO. As you know, OA and OB are the radii, PA and PB are the tangents. You can very well understand, or you can confirm that OA perpendicular to PA and OB perpendicular to PB. So this means that angle PAO equal to 90 degrees and angle PBO is equal to 90 degrees. Let's consider the triangle PAO and the triangle PBO. As we have already proved theorem 10.2, the similar case that we had there, that is we had two tangents from an external point and we have joined all those points with the center, and we have proved these two triangles congruent using RHS congruency. Just now we have proved it. I hope you'll be able to recollect it. So using that concept, I can conclude triangle PAO is congruent to triangle PBO. Now when two triangles are congruent, their corresponding paths are equal, and also that means when you mean corresponding paths, it means the corresponding sides are equal and also the corresponding angles are equal. We had used the corresponding sides are equal in the theorem. Here we are going to use the corresponding angles are equal. So this means that angle APO will be equal to angle BPO. So we had angle APB as 80 degrees, and hence we can have it like angle APO will be 40 degrees because they have to be equal, and the other one, that is angle BPO, will also be equal to 40 degrees. I hope you can understand that without even calculating it. Anyhow, I have the calculation here for you. Angle APB is equal to 80 degrees, which means that angle APO plus angle BPO is equal to 80 degrees. Since these two angles are equal, this will tell you angle APO equal to angle BPO equal to 40 degrees. So we have triangle PAO in which angle OPA is known to us, angle PAO is also known to us. With this we can understand, we can calculate angle POA. Let's see how are we going to do it. Here is the diagram for us. Let me rewrite the angles for a reference here. We had here as 40 degrees, that is angle OPA is 40 degrees, and this we know it is going to be 90 degrees. So when you consider this diagram, that is this triangle angle PAO, two angles are known to you. You just have to find the missing angle that can be very well found using angle sum property of a triangle. So in triangle PAO, angle PAO plus angle AOP plus angle OPA is equal to 180 degrees. When you substitute the known values, you can check it out. Angle AOP will be equal to 50 degrees. So we had the option, we had 50 degrees as one of the options, so that is going to be the right answer. So angle AOP, or you can put it as angle POA, is equal to 50 degrees. So with this, I conclude the session, of course, with a few homework problems for you. Here are the homework problems. You can complete examples 1, 2, 3 as your homework, and the first problem of exercise 10.2 is also for your homework. So finish it off till this. We'll discuss from the fourth problem of the same exercise in the next session. Complete the classwork with all these things, write all the theorems or the example problems, whatever we have done in these two sessions, complete it so that we will be able to start from the fourth problem of exercise 10.2 in the next session. Thank you.